Although, remember, is the finish. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite and oh my god, mother blood and guts. Viewer discretion is advised. That was a nice little touch. The commentators mentioned tonight's main event will be War Games. Fuck, we can't call it War Games. Call it Blood and Guts. That sounds like bad Doom DLC. Whatever, it's good enough. Anyway, they can't call it War Games, even though War Games was created by Dusty Rhodes many moons ago when Jim Crockett Promotions carried over to WCW with varying degrees of success until it hit a wall, or rather a trap door, in the form of Fall Brawl 1998, because Ultimate Warrior was involved in that, and since Ultimate Warrior was never good in the goddamn ring, even when he was being carried by the right goddamn person, need a trap door and more smoke than all the PS1 and N64 games Human Centipede together could provide. All he could ever do was... yeah, gift that if you want. Yeah, they did War Games 2000, this bitch. But WWE owns a trademark to War Games, so okay, they put it in NXT, and sometimes it's worked. And then they've had the matches go on way too goddamn long, pummeling the concept into the goddamn ground, like the main event of this show. This review is going to go well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So, the first match, and by the way, I did like the two-ring setup. That was kind of cool. A nice little throwback to Jim Crockett Promotions and WCW War Games. So, we have Don Callis come out with Michael Nakazawa. So, two of my least favorite people in wrestling, period. And Callis says, hey, Nak, I know that you were supposed to team with Omega, but you're going to have to face Moxley and Kingston on your own because Omega is just not going to be here. And Nakazawa, understandably, looks confused because he's like, one, why the fuck am I in the ring? Why am I in this weird gimmick? How did I get this job? Oh, he's a friend of Omega. Anyway, it's not really what you know, it's who you know sometimes. This goes for many wrestling companies. So, Mox and Kingston make their entrance looking like they're sneaking into an R-rated movie, and they're only 16 years old, and then Omega blindsides Moxley with some of the weakest championship shots I've fucking seen. The greatest goddamn wrestler, apparently, the greatest in fucking quotations. If you think Omega's great, that's fine. So fucking weak. I don't want you to actually clock him, but goddamn it, make it look halfway convincing. Anyway, it's not a handicap match for very long, because it becomes a handicap match once Mox gets back to his feet, because Nakazawa can't fucking do anything, and this was embarrassing. Nakazawa looks like shit, wrestles like shit, and it's a shit gimmick. So, yeah, Omega leaves, and then Nakazawa gets beat. And then they have an afterbirth, or an aftermath, or whatever, because of course they fucking do. The aftermath of so many, matches, like whether it's New Japan, whether it's AEW, whether it's WWE, it's getting fucking ridiculous. It's overly gimmicky and overbooked and everything. And I just got one question. What in the shower curtain clearance sale were the Bucks fucking wearing? The Insuffer Bucks. Good fucking God, that was ridiculous. They briefly distract Mox and Kingston just long enough for Good Brothers, home of the Good Brothers. Maybe we take your order to attack. And, I'm glad the Good Brothers are earning money in wrestling, but I regret ever saying they were held down in WWE because they've done a whole bunch of shit goddamn comedy. They're good athletes, but I don't want to see them on my fucking screen anymore. There are people that like the Elite. There are people that like the Bullet Club. There are people that like this idea after what Jay White said at the end of Dontaku Night 1. That, oh, I'm the real belt collector. Yeah, great, let's have the Elite versus Bullet Club in a feud that some people may like, I ain't gonna fucking like. But anyway, yeah, they do lazy heel shit. This is embarrassing. I don't find the Elite interesting, and I wasn't that interested in this match. I was like, okay, maybe they'll do something. I don't know why Mox versus Omega is continuing. I don't know why it is. It's really fucking ridiculous. So, yeah, this is, and One Wing Angel onto Kingston because Omega shows back up with Cutler wearing a face mask. I don't know if it was because he had an injury or something, but hopefully if he has an injury, he's alright. So, yeah, they do a Mach 3 count. One of the Bucks does that. I don't remember which one. Which one was dressed stupid? Okay, stupider than the other. That one. Anyway, Ishida versus Britt is official for Double or Nothing. Okay, I really hope they give him about 20 minutes because the card for Double or Nothing has not really been announced all that much yet. And it's in a few weeks. And they're going to apparently have a full capacity crowd, which I'm fine with. Whatever, Daly's place isn't that big. And hopefully everybody's smart and actually, gets the goddamn vaccine and wears their mask and whatever. But cool. It's going to be nice to hear a, cheering crowd again. They're just going to have to put a goddamn epic card there after what happened at Revolution. They're going to have to really make up for what happened at the end of that. So, speaking of feuds I don't care about, QT with the Factory versus Cody with Arn. The Factory isn't there. They show up later. Well, they come out for the entrance and then they leave. And then Cody has Arn, and they are desperate to get this feud over, and I just didn't care. I didn't care. We get the mid-air collision. This is after Arn attacks QT and gets kicked out. Commentators keep mentioning previous Blood and Guts matches because they can't say War Games. Moon over Jacksonville because QT's tights got pulled down because that's what we need to fucking see. Cody hits a moonsault for 2. I've noticed that when Cody gets on the ropes, like he tries to do a disaster kick, and I know he's been wrestling for a while, he really should stop doing those. He just doesn't look comfortable. QT hits a crossroads, and then tombstone reversals, and then middle finger from QT, and Cody gets figure 4 for the win. Anthony Monster Go-Go comes out and knocks Cody down with 1 punch, and then the Union Jack on Cody's body. So I imagine that's the match we're going to get at the pay-per-view. This feud is ass. This feud is so goddamn ass. Cody is not his dad. No matter how hard he tries, he's not his dad. He's a very good athlete, but it's not good. Marvez interviews Scorpio, Sky, and Ethan Page, who were a team because reasons. They're in one of the high areas. And then they talk about what they did to Darby and Sting. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat? Mosquitoes. You kill mosquitoes. He calls Sting Steve because we're straight shooting here, buddy. And then Ethan talks about Darby and previous matches that no one saw and the metal in his elbow. So I guess apparently Ethan and Darby have faced off in previous matches. I don't know because, I mean, I've seen Darby in matches. I just never saw him against Ethan, so happened in other promotions. Cool. So Darby attacks. How did they not notice he was up there? It's not like Darby is that hard to find. He's small, but he's not like microscopic. And then they toss him down some stairs. So this show is gone. This show is completely off the rails and is out of control. JR says, and he's not wrong. He could say that about any week. Darby gets checked on by the medical staff. I actually hope Darby's okay. Darby's nuts. He really is nuts. Britt versus Julia Hart, who took on Kylan King on AEW Dark and loses in a minute, as it should be. Nothing against Julia Hart, but Britt is being positioned to take the title from Hikaru Shida. Please have Britt do that, because you don't need to have the match go on way too goddamn long. Or you don't need to have the title reign go on way too long, because they've already kind of botched the whole thing. Even though she is a really good athlete and she's delivered some good matches, it's got to have a reset with Britt. Britt's got to hold it at least from here until November. And then you can build up a new babyface. So anyway, technique by Taz. He just knocks Christian for having bad technique on the frog splash and the kill switch. Varsity Blonde versus SCU versus the Acclaimed versus Jurassic Express. Unfortunately, the midget is back. 4-way contenders match. Varsity Blondes, you're a temporary thing. In 10 years, you'll be on dark side of the ring. Caster's really good when he gets these lines off, and he says, we're going to take those titles off the Young Cucks. This is a mess. This is a mess. And I like some of these guys. This is a mess. Because Aaron gets chokeslammed outside by Luchasaurus and nearly gets brained on the goddamn apron. Everybody get in here. BME on Pillman Jr. 1, 2, 3. I don't have much to say about this. Video package on Moxley and Yuji Nagata, which I'm happy to see. Here's the thing, though. Apparently, Tony Khan just remembered that Yuji Nagata wrestled on various episodes of Nitro. I'm not saying that Khan ain't a fan of wrestling, but good God. Yeah, and I love Yuji Nagata. I think him and Moxley will deliver a good match, but I think this would be better taking place in front of a New Japan crowd. Oh well, maybe they'll have Suzuki show up and Suzuki will attack Mox and stuff like that. So, Mox says, once the bell rings, I've got no respect for anybody. And then next week, yeah, it's going to be a championship match. So, Cage is up and ready. Shivani interviews Omega, who cannot talk for shit. Omega is a terrible promo. Says, oh, blood and guts about 5 times. Says he's a belt collector. The thing is ridiculous, whatever. Knows. I mean, the AEW Championship, I guess, means something. CMLL, or the AAA Championship, rather. I guess that means something. I'm not that familiar with the AAA, lineage. I know some people. I know some good people have held it, but I couldn't tell you the championship lineage if you paid me. He says, I'm not here for fun or games. I don't want to be here at all. Well, good. Leave. Get the fuck out of here. God damn. I know he's supposed to be a heel, but just, I don't want to see him on my screen. I don't want to see any of the Elite on my screen anymore. I mean, I didn't really want to see him anyway, but now it's just like, okay, now they're just basically assing off on camera, and it's annoying. Pac versus Orange Cassidy next week, and the winner faces Omega. And since Cassidy came out, it's obviously going to be Cassidy taking on Omega at Double or Nothing. Omega runs him down, and, well, they like you because they can be like you, but they can't be like me. I don't want to be like Omega, somebody that works with somebody like Jason Rance and says he didn't know. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he did. Anyway, oh boy, he took the sunglasses. They are feuding because of the sunglasses. They are fighting over shampoo. Miro, by the way, this was terrible because Cassie said nothing. I'm not saying the match won't be good. I just have no desire to see this. And a Miro promo. Kip is in the hospital. Apparently he actually needs surgery. If true, if it's not just kayfabe thing, hopefully Kip is alright. No one is going to distract from my destiny. He wants the title match with Darby next week. We will find out, what happens when the man who isn't afraid to die meets the man who isn't afraid to kill him. Maybe if they had just used Miro like this to begin with, I would be more on board with it. I don't think he's going to beat Darby. Darby's going to somehow eke it out, or they're going to do Ethan and Sky, attacking and causing a DQ. Maybe we're going to get a 4-way at Double or Nothing, where either Ethan or Sky will get the victory. Who the fuck knows? Maybe Miro will get the victory by getting all 3 of them in the game over to just fuck everything up. So, Cassidy versus Pac next week. SCU versus the Bucks. SCU's losing. Unless they want to hotshot those titles, SCU are losing. Shivani is interviewing Jade next week. Cody's Double or Nothing announcement. So it's Blood War, and Game Guts time. Legends of the Hidden Temple with this bitch. Pinnacle with Tully, who was in the first ever Blood and Gut, first ever War Games. God damn it. When JJ had his shoulder broken because the Road Warriors tried to do a Doomsday device. They took on the Inner Circle. This is going to last 40 minutes. I'm going to say right now, there were good parts of this match. There were. They delivered on the blood part. They did. The build for this match has been absolute shit. The beatdown at first where the Pinnacle was formed, that's fine. And then you have the brawl that was so goddamn stagey, it took me out of it. And then they had their war words and stuff like that. And if they had built this up properly, then maybe people would have been more on board. That being said, when it got to the match, these guys took it seriously. At least at first. Of course, once the Inner Circle made their entrance, I kept saying, "You are treasonous on the inside. You are insurrection personified." Because, Jericho's mother-in-law and wife were around on that day, and he also donated money to Trump. And no, I'm not going to fucking forget that. And if you have a fucking problem with it, scoot along. I don't fucking care. People need to be held accountable. Yeah, sure, wrestlers aren't perfect, and maybe it's a bunch of head trauma. Or maybe Chris Jericho's always been a piece of shit, and he just decided not to give a shit anymore and just drink himself into a fucking stupor every single night and be a super spreader event. That being said, he's delivered some pretty good goddamn promos. So, Sammy and Dax started off. Dax is bleeding instantly. Springboard cutter, and then Spears comes in and gets hit in the head with the chair. And, man, the chair has more personality. Spears is probably actually the best Spears has looked since his feud with Cody. And then Sammy gets hit in the head. Oh, no, blood. Usually the blood gets off the second floor. I did like how Ortiz and Santana were dressed up like dead presidents. The movie, by the way. Ortiz is next. Throws a chair at Dax's head. Very stagey Spanish fly spot. I understand what they were trying to do, and both are good athletes. But holy fuck, that was stagey. And then Cash is in next. And then Santina. No, please no. Santana is in next. We cut the break. Wardlow's in. Mr. Personality, a.k.a. Jake Hager, has the personality of white bread. And actually less usage because white bread tastes good. So they did bad big man stuff because Wardlow is still very, very much in the early part of his career. And Hager's never been that good. MJF outlast to asshole chants. That was a really nice throwback to the Attitude Era. Jericho hits him with Floyd. Not Floyd the Barber, which would be hilarious. No, he hit him with Floyd the Bat. 20 minutes left, and the ring canvas is peeled up. Here's my problem. Other War Games matches, if you look, once the last person got in the ring, whether it was a manager, whether it was J.J. Dillon, whether it was, whoever it was, whether it was Sting Squadron versus the Dangerous Alliance, whatever War Games it was, whenever the last person got in, you knew the clock was ticking to keep the people building and do something. And then you could do an aftermath if you really want to. No. They didn't do that. They had half the goddamn match still. Or, most of the last 20 minutes be the match where they're just beating the shit out of each other. They peel back the stuff. And this is where I started to lose it. Because I have issues with the NXT War Games matches going on way too goddamn long. So yeah, the double spike pile driver on the wood. The top rope is removed, so you got the turnbuckle spike and everything. Coast to coast by Sammy. Wardlow, launches Sammy into the air. He nearly lands on that goddamn spike. That was laying down, but still. Turnbuckle to Jericho's head, and then we get the wall broken, and then MJF and Jericho get up to the top, and then everybody takes a goddamn nap. To be fair, though, a lot of those guys have beaten the shit out of each other, and also Jake Hager got confused because he wasn't at some kind of white rally. And submissions hurt more on the top of the cage, by the way. Everyone laying in the ring, Shivani, that no good piece of shit because Shivani doesn't care anymore. And they have this box thing set up for an obviously stagey spot. Okay, MJF has Jericho bloody and is going to shove him off. And he says, if you don't surrender, I'm throwing him off the top. Sammy says, we surrender. And you can even see Santana and Ortiz like, what the fuck are you goddamn doing? I understand what they were trying to do. Before I get to the finish, before I get to the aftermath, I understand what they were trying to do. They did something similar at Fall Brawl 1997, where, you know, Mr. Perfect, or Kurt Hennig rather, had turned and it was proven that he was aligned with the NWO, and he was going to slam Flair's head into the cage door unless a Horseman gave up. Okay, cool. Mongo surrendered, and he still did it. That would have been better than what they did here. And I have no problem with trying to do a cool spot at the end and really establish MJF as a heel. So Sammy surrenders. They should have shot this from a different angle because Jericho lands. It's obviously painted cardboard to look like metal, and it's a crash pad. I don't have a problem with wrestlers falling on crash pads. WWE's been doing it for a while. Braun and Lashley. Shane at Mania 32. Shane and Miz at Mania 35. And many other crash pad moments. There have been crash pad moments going all the way back to WCW. There's nothing wrong with using crash pads. They didn't film it from the right goddamn angle, and you would think with a company that has all this money from the son of a billionaire, you'd think they would have walked through this and said, hey, maybe we should shoot a bit of a wide shot. Oh my god, and then if fans take pictures and zoom in, oh well, they would have shot through the cage anyway. Oh well. At least it would have looked cool, but no. It was a popcorn fart, and I'm glad even though Jericho's a goddamn piece of shit, I didn't want him to fall on concrete. When Matt Hardy had that fall on concrete, it was fucking bullshit. It was fucking stupid, but guess what? This was so fucking bad. MJF does yell, thank you. And they replayed the goddamn thing. This was fucking ridiculous. So fucking ridiculous. What the fuck? Why did they think shooting it from that angle was a good idea? Because now everybody's laughing. Are they laughing as much as they did at the end of the goddamn, exploding barbed wire death match? Maybe not. But this was really fucking stupid. Did it ruin the match? To me, the match was already kind of ruined anyway because they went way too long after Jericho got in the goddamn ring. And I understand what they were trying to do. Making a match long just for the sake of it is not always going to goddamn work. Overall, bit of a letdown. Now, there was a lot of blood, and I hope all the guys are okay and they recover and they get some time off. Maybe until the pay-per-view and do some multi-man matches or stuff like that, whatever. I'm glad that everybody seems to be okay, and I'm glad Jericho's okay. But that was a really bad spot. Really, really bad, comical, and fucking hilarious. And just shows that this company did not learn anything from WCW. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.